Welcome back to Tea Lisa's channel. We are a tea shop located in Niagara-on-the-Lake. For this week's tea series, we'll be recreating the salted cheese foam. We'll be using the classic oolong tea, which is a green tea flavor that's been founded in the high mountains of Taiwan, and our classic fruity tea, the Hawaiian Paradise. So for the salted cheese foam tea, you'll receive a nice blend of sweet and savory flavors. For the first step in recreating the salted cheese foam, we added 50 grams of cream cheese at room temperature, and then we added 50 grams of condensed milk straight from the fridge and 2 grams of sea salt. So I have that all prepped here in the bowl, and we want to make sure that everything is mashed up before we start mixing at low speed. So after mixing in our initial ingredients, it should be a smooth consistency like this. And then we're going to add 50 grams of 2% milk. So I'm going to add the first half in so that it doesn't go everywhere while we're mixing it. So I'm going to go ahead and mix the first half of the milk. And then I'm going to add the rest of the milk in, and I'll continue mixing it until it's a liquid texture. After mixing in our ingredients, we're going to add 200 grams of 35% of whipping cream. So I have that right here, so I'm going to add that in. Alright, and we're going to mix that together until we get a mousse-like texture, nothing too hard and nothing too liquidy. Right there. So yeah, just keep mixing until you get a mousse consistency. After mixing all our ingredients in, you should have a consistency like this, where it's not too liquidy and not too thick. So after that, we're going to keep it stored cool in the fridge for 15 to 30 minutes before serving. And if you're recreating the classic salted cheese foam like we are, you can store it up to 48 hours. And if you wanted to add extra flavors into the salted cheese foam, you can add a fruit syrup or fruit puree. You can only keep that in the fridge for 24 hours. For the next step in our salted cheese foam tea, we're going to create the iced tea. So we have 2 tea flavors that we're going to use. One is the oolong tea, which is a green tea flavor, and the Hawaiian Paradise, which is a tropical flavor. So I'm going to grab a tablespoon of each. And the reason we want a tablespoon is because we want a strong flavor to be complementary to the salted cheese foam. So here's the oolong tea, and this is the Hawaiian Paradise. So after putting our loose leaf tea into our Japanese teapot, we're going to add a tablespoon of organic sugar cane or any other sweet alternatives that you have. And then we're going to add 300 milliliters of hot water. And we're going to let that steep for 5 to 6 minutes. So after our tea has steeped for 5 to 6 minutes, I'm just going to stir it just to get that nice color we want from our loose leaf tea. There you go. And now I'm going to pour the tea into our cocktail shaker so that we can create the iced tea. So that was the oolong tea, and now I'm going to pour the Hawaiian Paradise. Tighten that, and I'm going to shake it until we blend the ice and the tea together and add a nice foam on top. Alright, so now we're going to mix everything together in the glass so we can taste it. So now I have our tea here mixed in a cocktail. So I'm going to pour the drink in. And then I'm going to add the ice and foam on top. So the reason why we want to add that into the iced tea is so that when we top it off with the salted cheese foam, it can stay afloat. And I'm going to do the same with the Hawaiian Paradise tea. After pouring our tea in, we're going to add the salted cheese foam. So we're going to add the salted cheese foam with a spoon on top, and we're going to slowly drizzle that until we fill the cup. And it is heavy, so we want to make sure that we pour this in slowly. Alright, so that's the first one here, the oolong tea. And now we're going to put that onto the Hawaiian Paradise. So after we finish pouring the salted cheese foam on top, now it's time for the grand finale where we test it out. So I'm going to try the oolong tea first. See, I have a mustache. This one is very nice. So first you'll try the savory flavor of the salted cheese foam, which kind of tastes like cheesecake, and you get a nice hint of refreshing oolong tea. I'm gonna try this one now. And I have a mustache again. After I wiped off my mustache, so the Hawaiian Paradise, again, really savory at first, tastes like cheesecake, and then you get a nice fruity hint of the Hawaiian Paradise. So that concludes our salted cheese foam tutorial featuring Hawaiian Paradise and oolong green tea. You can use any tea combinations that suits your type. And again, we prefer for you guys to serve this immediately fresh because the texture and taste can change over time the longer you leave it out. So yeah, thanks again for watching our tutorial. You can check out detailed instructions on our website. We'll link below our blog. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and a follow. We'll see you next week.